Hello everybody, Lucy Haig from Gloucestershire Real Nappy Project here, coming to you live, hopefully. The technical issues are continuing as lockdown continues, and I have to be my own tech support, which is a terrifying idea. And my laptop has decided this evening that neither of its browsers will support Facebook Live video. So apparently I have to download some sort of video streaming software, so that'll be fun. Meanwhile, here I am on my phone. So if it's a funny shape, if it's tall and narrow, that's why. Sorry about that. Just love the technical issues. Now, tonight I want to talk to you about the benefits of going old school when it comes to nappies. And when we talk about old school in terms of nappies, we are talking flats. So terry squares, woo. The things we love to kind of, not quite trash talk, but we love to think we have progressed beyond terry squares. Pre-folds, got a lovely cotton pre-fold here for you, and muslins. So, all amazing things, and all still have a brilliant part to play in a modern cloth nappying system. So, we quite often, when we're talking to parents about cloth nappying, we sort of say, oh, you don't have to bother with all that origami folding and complicated stuff of terry squares, because that is something that puts a lot of people off the idea of using cloth. So what we tend to do is say, you can use something far easier, far more simple. And I'm just going to go behind me and grab an all-in-one. Ta-da! I was prepared, honest. So this is a Tot Spots all-in-one, and we talk about these and how quick and easy they are, and how it's all in one piece and nothing gets lost, dead simple. And all of that is true. It is simple. But it has downsides as well as upsides. So, the downsides to having an all-in-one, your polyurethane laminated fabric, your plastic layer, is attached to all the rest. Your elastics are all built in. Those are benefits because it's easier to use the nappy, it's quicker to put it on and to learn how to do it. But they're downsides because they severely limit what you can do to this nappy. For one thing, you can't change part of it and use the other bit again because it's all one thing. Once it's wet or dirty, you have to wash the entire thing. You have to be careful how you wash it because that pull fabric is a little bit delicate and those elastics inside are a little bit delicate. And if you put these on a really hot wash, or if you tumble dry them, or if you dry them on a radiator, you will destroy them. If you put bleach in with them or harsh chemicals, you will destroy them. Because this fabric, this polyurethane laminated fabric, will delaminate, it will come apart from the fabric backing, and then they won't be waterproof anymore. So, although these are great nappies, they do have their limitations. So there is still a place for flat nappies, what we think of as old school nappies, in a modern, on modern baby's bum. So, going to start, just point out what they all are. So this is a terry square, okay? So this is basically just a square of toweling. It's a square towel. It's on the thinner side than maybe your sort of bath towels, think more like a hand towel. And it is a square of toweling, nicely finished around the edges. And what you would do with this is fold it, and this is the absorbent layer that goes on your baby's bum. So I'm going to show you a couple of very quick basic folds. So into half and into half again, so you've got a square. And then what you do is sort of open the top layer of that square out into a triangle. That worked surprisingly well. Wasn't expecting that to work that well on video. Then you fold this square half when you've turned it over, in and in again. And what you're left with is a nice thick pad up the middle and two long wings. Now I've got this upside down. So, your baby, welcome scary baby as she's known, goes in the middle there. The nice thick bit comes up between their legs that is the nice pad that's going to absorb all the weight. And the triangles come round the sides. And there's your nappy fitted to your baby's bottom. In the past, you'd have used a safety pin, a great big nappy pin, stab that and hold it closed. Nowadays we have nappy nippers, or snappies, and they're sometimes called, sort of silicone rubbery stuff with plastic grippy claws in the end. Going to try and get that to focus so you can see they've just got grippy claws. So what you do with that is you hook it on, and you hook it on, and you hook it on, and the little plastic grippy teeth grip into the toweling, and ta-da! Your baby has a nappy on. So it's not as complicated as it looks. And I know that looks like it's coming a long way down the leg. So what you do, you tuck and tuck. And as well as making a nice snug fit that fits better under your waterproof layer, what this does, this rolling in, it's awfully clever, is it creates a little dam on the inside. It creates a little kind of wall that helps hold in any liquid baby poo. So it's actually quite good for containment as well as fitting. And there you go, quite neat and quick. And then you put a waterproof layer over the top. Now, this is a TJ's Birth to Potty wrap, double gussets on the side, pockets front and back, any old wrap. This just happens to be my favourite one because it's covered in rainbows. Anybody that knows me knows, totally rainbow obsessed. So, crazy rainbow lady. Your wrap comes round and it poppers on over the top. Cool, look, she's such a professional, she can do it on camera. And any bits that are peeking out, I haven't even done up the wing poppers there, which would control that. So you do up all your poppers, you tuck in any bits that are coming out, and there you go, you've got a cloth nappy on a baby. So, it's not going to take a lot longer to do one of these than it is to do an all-in-one when you've practiced. And the one thing about babies and nappies is they give you plenty of practice. You're going to be doing this multiple times a day, so you'll very quickly get to the point where you can do it in your sleep. That's just one fold, but there you go. So putting a cloth nappy on a baby, a flat nappy, is really not that complicated. I never used flats with my babies. My babies are now 9 and who will be 7, the little one, in 2 days on Friday. So I didn't really know about flats at the time. I had mostly pocket nappies when I used mine, and I had some close pop-ins, a few different things. I didn't have any flats, didn't know how to use them. So I have learnt this on YouTube. YouTube is amazing. There are so many videos of different nappy folds. And sometimes when I'm going into one of the antenatal classes at one of the hospitals, I like to impress the midwives and the staff there, particularly the slightly older ladies, by showing them that I actually know lots of different nappy folds and going, oh, you used kite fold. Look, I know how to do a kite fold. Here it is. You do the top over and you do this and you do that like that, and this comes up between the baby's legs and these bits come around like this, and yay, I know different nappy folds. And they get terribly impressed. So it's unlikely to ever come up in a pub quiz, so that's probably the best use I'm going to get out of my random YouTubing. But they can be strangely addictive, learning how to do different nappy folds. I'm just seeing Kira on here saying exactly the same. Practicing is the favourite hobby. It's a great way to spend your lockdown. So, anything you can do with a terry square, you can do with a muslin. So, muslins are, we all know what muslins are, they're a thin bit of fabric that are absolutely essential when you're having a baby. And I say when you're having a baby, like I've just said, mine are quite grown up. The last time I used a muslin was today. So Kirsty did a brilliant video about all the things you might end up using muslins for. Today I used a muslin for lining the net so I could scoop dirt out of the swimming pool that I accidentally bought. Lockdown internet purchase. So yeah, muslins will be useful forever. There's proof. So anything you can do with a terry square, you can do with a muslin. And muslins are great particularly for newborns because they're thinner, so you have a little bit less bulk on the bum, and you can do that exact same fold there again. Do 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 do. Up it comes, round they go, and you have a little one. So muslins come in different sizes. You can use giant, great big ones. I'm going to show you a brilliant trick now, whether for a terry square or a muslin. If you've got a tiny, tiny little baby and you want to use your muslins as a starter, and whatever you're going to do with them is a little bit too big, if you fold all the corners in like that, you get a square. Again, well, you do if you do it accurately and you're not doing it on your own stomach, mirror image in a camera. You get a slightly smaller square. And then you can start and do your fold again. So I'll do a different fold this time. I'll just do a fold in 3. So if you fold it in 3 like that, and then you kind of let the top bits fold out again, once again, you end up with a nice pad in the middle that comes up, and 2 sort of wings that come around the outside like that. And again, you can use your nappy nipper. I cannot for the life of me remember what that fold is called. There are many folds. Learning the names is not remotely important. Just work out what works for you. So, there you go. Again, roll in the corners, fit it on baby's bum, stick a wrap on over the top, and you're done. So, this also has the bonus. If you learn how to do this, you will never be without a nappy. Even if you're not intending to use cloth, or you're not intending to use it full time, you're only going to use it when you're at home or at night when you're not going to use it when you're out and about, I guarantee you that when you're out and about with your baby and your mum friends, you know, when we're all allowed back out again, and you're out at a cafe and you've run out, you've used your last nappy and you think, oh my god, my baby's done so many poo explosions today, I've used all the nappies and I don't have any nappies left, I guarantee you someone will have a muslin. And you will be able to put a nappy on your baby's bum. Now, you might not have a wrap available if you weren't cloth nappying, but even just the muslin would be an awful lot better than no nappy in an emergency. So you just want to get home quick to be able to change it before they wee all the way through it. So, muslins, fantastic for newborns. Up to sort of 6 months you can probably get with a muslin, or maybe 2 layers of muslin folded together if they weigh a lot. Or maybe a muslin folded around a booster. So we go on about boosters and inserts and all sorts of things. I'm just going to steal one out of my bamboozle here. Bamboo booster. If you're happy using your muslin but you're just finding you want a little bit more absorbency, when you do your fold and you've got your pad in the middle of your fold, however you're doing it, stick a bamboo booster in there, carry on folding. You've just got that extra bit of absorbency inside. Okay, it doesn't have to be, just because this one is made to popper into something, doesn't mean it has to be poppered into anything. All bits of nappies are interchangeable, really. You put together whatever works for you. So, pre-folds. Pre-folds, if you haven't seen one before. Now, this is from the Bambino Mio All in 2. What is now called a Mio Duo, and what used to be called a Mio Soft. This is the one you can get in the Bambino Mio kit if you go for your voucher kit from us. That's the Bambino Mio one. You get 4 all-in-ones and you get one of these. And it's a lovely little, this is size 1, because the wraps are sized. The inserts are all the same size. It's got a lovely little double gusset for extra containment. Fastens with Velcro, nice and easy. Now you can do, again, different folds with a pre-fold. They have a slightly thicker bit down the middle where there's just more layers of fabric sewn in. And pre-folds were originally, the way traditionally that you tend to use them, is you'd fold it that way for a girl, so that thicker bit is all the way folded inside down the middle, because girls wee underneath in the middle. And then for a boy, you'd fold them the other way. So you've got your thick bit in the middle with the other layers over the top, and then that's very, very long, you'll notice, because they're long and they're wide, and you'd fold the front down, so you'd got more absorbency at the front for a boy, because that's where they wee. So that's your sort of versatility in your pad folds. You can do all sorts of other folds with these. You can fold a bit down at the front, and then you can do something called a jelly roll, where you roll in the side, bits, which is good for poo containment. Da, 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 da. See, all of my YouTubing has come in handy, finally. And you bring that round and then your wings in like that. There are all sorts of different folds and things as well. But if you've got a double gusset wrap, you probably don't need them. Most of the time, you would get away with just folding it in a pad and tucking it under the edges. So this one just has one at the front, just holds it in place. And then you put it on the baby, and those double gussets contain any poo and it doesn't go anywhere. So just because they're simple doesn't have to mean they're difficult to put on. 99% of the time you could get away with a pad fold in a wrap like that, and it's dead simple. If your baby happens to be doing gigantic runny poos that want to escape everything, that's when you want to look at more containment, sort of in terms of folding, and you want to do that jelly roll or something like that that gets extra dams in around the legs and helps to control it. Because what that will mean is the poo doesn't get onto your wrap. This is going to stop it getting out, but if you stop the poo from getting onto the wrap, you don't then have to wash the wrap until maybe the end of the day. So that's another bonus of two-part systems, is you could have 20 of these, 3 or 4 of these, because you don't have to wash this every time. If it's not got soiled, if it's not got dirty and it's just damp, give it a wipe down, use it again. Some people sort of saying, oh, but if it's damp, I don't want to use it again. So use 2 during the day. Leave one, take one off, leave it on the changing mat, put the other one on. By the time you come back to this one again, change that one, will have air dried. It'll have aired out and it'll be dry. They dry incredibly fast when you wash them because there's not really fabric there to hold none of this fabric is absorbent, so it doesn't really hold a lot of moisture. So they come out of the washing machine spun and they dry incredibly fast. So that's a way that you can make it cheaper for yourself by not buying as many things. In general terms, a flat pad of fabric is a lot cheaper. It's a lot cheaper to produce, of course it is, than something that is shaped and has to be cut to size and finished and elasticed and poppered and velcroed, and that's just got a lot more processes in it, so it's obviously going to be more expensive to produce than a flat pad of fabric. In terms of, I talked earlier about being more careful with your washing. Well, this is literally cotton. This is cotton. This is cotton. So while this bit could go in with your ordinary wash or your delicates or your clothes or anything, because this does not need a huge amount of washing. It may have had a tiny bit of wee seep onto it that you've then wiped off, but it's not going to be soiled, it's not going to be dirty. It's going to need a freshen up. But that's not the bit that's doing all of the heavy lifting, as it were. So these bits, you can wash however you like. You're still not going to need to wet pail them. We talk about dry paling and wet paling. So you don't need to be soaking them in bleach or Milton or something like that. But you can put them on a much hotter wash if you want to, without worrying about elastics and pull and anything delaminating. They're just cotton. You can stick them on a 90 wash and you won't kill them. So as well as that, they will last a lot longer because there's less to go wrong. I know people who have got terry squares that they have used for 6 children and have still got at the end of it, and yes, some of them are looking a little threadbare here and there and the edges have gone a little bit tattered, but they still work. They might not be the first ones they reach for and they don't look as pretty, but they are workhorses as nappies. They are really the reason they still exist now, even though we have all these fancy all-in-ones and easy, pretty things with beautiful prints and Velcro and poppers and really nice, is that they work. It's just one of those things. I think it's worth everybody having a go at least once with some flats, and that's the reason we put them in our loan kits, which unfortunately we can't lend out at the moment because of COVID and social distancing, but we put them in our loan kits. They've all got a pre-fold and a terry and a muslin in, and 9 times out of 10 they come back completely untouched and unused because people haven't quite worked up the courage to use them. But I think everybody should have a go at least once. I'm looking at my crib sheet here, if you're wondering what I'm looking at. Aha! Now, so I've said that. They are very reusable afterwards. As I was saying, using it as a pond filter earlier, a pool filter rather than a pond filter. Kirsty did a big video about all the different ways you can use a muslin. Cut these up for wipes, kitchen cleaning cloths, floor scrubbing cloths, car polishing cloths, window washing, whatever you want. You can, and because you can literally boil wash them, when you've finished using them, you can cut them up and use them for anything you want, and you really can properly sterilise them because they're a cotton towel, so you really can boil the life out of it and it will still survive, and you can turn it into something else, which means it continues having a life. And the reason we're sort of promoting cloth nappies is it's better for the environment. It's less waste, but it's also less things needing to be produced. So even at the end of your cloth nappy cycle, if they can be passed on to someone else, sold on, given to a friend, cut up and used for rags, if that's all they're useful for at that point, if they're still being used, they are saving some other fabric being produced. They are saving some other bit of production happening. So it's still a great thing to do. Now, I've shown you 2 wraps of the sort of standard variety that you might be more used to with fitteds. That was the Bambino Mia one. This is the TJ's one, and this has a pocket at both ends, which makes it extra easy if you're just doing that powered fold. Dead simple to use. But there are other styles of wrap. This is a Petit Loulou pull-up one. So this is still pull, but instead of being very fitted around the legs and fastening with Velcro poppers, it's a pull-up style and it goes up over the top. So you would have to, with this one, you would have to fasten your nappy first with the nappy nipper. I've dropped it somewhere. And then pull this up over the top. But the beauty of these is, if you have any problem with getting marks on your baby's legs, those sock marks, red marks, and you think, that might not be comfortable, you won't get them with these because they're lovely and soft, fleecy bits around the legs. And they don't grip tight, so that's always nice to be aware of. And then going, there's my nappy nipper, then going really old school, I want to talk to you about wool. This is a wool soaker. A lot of people have just gone, whoa, you've gone too far. No, never. So, this is a wool soaker. This is a Desana one, which tends to be the standard when people get wool soakers. These are really lovely. They're made in Germany, and this one is 6 to 12 months size, and it is 100% wool. It is knitted. This is machine knitted and then sewn together like a jumper would be, but you can hand knit them, and I might do a video about hand knitting some. What you do with a wool wrap, because people are going to be thinking, hold on a minute, wool's not waterproof. It's not waterproof, it's water resistant, particularly if you lanolise it. And I'm showing you a little pack of lanolin here. Try not to show you the name. Brandy. No, so these were some free samples of Lansano that we used to get for a breastfeeding group that I volunteer for. And if you've got a little tube of nipple cream, that works perfectly for lanolizing wool wraps. You don't have to buy anything particular or special to do it. So again, waste not, want not. So what you do to lanolise your wool wrap, and I might do a video about this if I do one about knitting soakers, is you dissolve some lanolin in some water with a tiny bit of soap. You soak the nappy in it, and then you dry it. You let it drip dry. And what that does, it makes the wool feel, again, that sort of slightly greasiness like it is on the sheep, which is how it keeps the sheep dry. It's also going to keep your baby's nappy dry, your baby's clothes dry rather. So what it does, it works in a similar way to a Mother-Ease Airflow, which are the ones that don't do up tightly around your baby's bum but have sort of gaps at the side in between the poppers and quite a loose fit. It allows some of the moisture to evaporate. So wool soakers are particularly amazing at night. If you've got a heavy soaker in at night and they're wetting through everything, seriously consider putting a nice big boosted fitted nappy on and then going for a wool cover, because it will allow some of the moisture to evaporate through, and then you won't wake up with a big puddle. It essentially increases the capacity of your nappy because it's allowing some of that liquid to escape naturally. Again, it's something that a lot of people kind of go, oh no, not interested in that. Generally speaking, everyone I know who's tried them has liked them. So again, it's one of those things that it's worth having a think about and having a go. So yeah, that's a wool soaker. And this has the other advantage that I just have to say about this. If you go for a wool soaker and an old school flat, whichever one that may be, you can have an entirely plastic-free nappy solution for your baby. There is no plastic in this. There is no plastic in this. There doesn't need to be any plastic at all. So, just out of interest, it is entirely possible to go completely plastic free on the bum. I'm looking down my list. Nobody's come up with any questions while I'm wittering on. I talked about the different types. So 2 more things that I've got on my list that I've got completely out of sync. Your lovely all-in-ones. As well as being limited in the way you can wash them, they're limited in the amount of absorbency you've got in here because you've just got that long thin strip down the middle. When you're talking about a 2-parter, now whether that be a fitted 2-parter like the Tot Spots Bamboos, or whether it be a flat, something like this, you have got a lot more absorbency because the entire nappy is made of the absorbent fabric. And then you have the waterproofing over the top, so you're not limited to the bit that's attached to it or the bit that will fit in the pocket physically. You can put in as much as you want. And with these, as I was saying, it's very easy to add an extra booster in and fold it around, and you can boost it as much as you like. So these can be far more absorbent than your pocket nappies or your all-in-ones if you put them together right. And also, they'll probably be cheaper. So, old school cloth nappies. Give it a go. Even if it's only because everything else is in the wash and you haven't done your washing on time and you're thinking, what am I going to do? Don't reach for a disposable. Find a square towel or a tea towel. Just give it a try. You can always boil wash it afterwards. Thanks very much for watching. I hope this has been helpful.